So since it seems no one is going to review this figure here, or it seems like nobody cares either, I figured I'll be the first to give it a high quality review. So hello everybody, this is Goji73, this is Ultraman Chrono, this is Seismic, and I'm here to do something a little different for this channel. But at the same time, not really? It's complicated. Back in the first quarter of 2020, I was doing a lot of unboxings for some reason, and then out of nowhere I just dropped them. So in a way, I'm kind of bringing back unboxings, but I think I'll also be giving reviews of the things I unbox, instead of just being like, yeah, that's cool, bye. So without further ado, let's begin. So taking out of my address details here, here's the base box. So with that, let's see what's inside. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my fucking god. Oh my gosh. So yes, this was expected since I made a big commotion over it on Instagram, but here we have the Bandai movie monster series of Varan. So if you don't know who Varan is, he's one of Toho's monsters that got his own solo movie in 1958. In its film debut, Varan is depicted as a kaiju that lives in a saltwater lake within the Kunishiroshima Valley, where it is known to the natives as Baradagi Shanjin. I probably butchered that. And identified by an entomologist as Varanopode, a fictional reptile said to have lived during the Mesozoic era. Varan kills an expedition duo and destroys a nearby village before attacking Tokyo, until it is tricked by the military into eating bombs. After several of them detonate in its stomach, Varan is mortally wounded and escapes into the ocean, where the final bomb explodes and destroys it. Varan reappears in the film Destroy All Monsters, living on Monsterland alongside several of Earth's monsters, until the alien Keylocks enslave the monsters and send them back to Earth's major cities. After an astronaut crew destroys the aliens' control device, the Keylocks respond by sending King Ghidorah to kill the Earth's monsters. Varan did not take part in either following this. Following this, Earth's monsters return to Monsterland to live in peace. His only real power is flight and gliding with his flying squirrel-like appendages, and his claws, teeth, and spines running down his back. But in Godzilla Unleashed, he was given a light pink ray of energy, almost like an atomic breath of sorts. So now let us review the actual figure. The sculpting on this figure is amazing. From comparing the sculpt to photos of the suit, it looks like they were trying to make the Destroy All Monsters variant. And I'm not mad at this, since this was the design I grew up with. Do I prefer the 1958 version of the design? Absolutely. But again, I grew up with this design for most of my life, so the sculpt on this figure looks really crisp and accurate. But the paint... And this is where my point from my G-Fest haul comes into play, and possibly controversial opinion coming up, but I'm genuinely not a big fan of Bandai's new releases for the movie monster series, since 2018, not counting Bandai premiums, obviously. And the biggest reason for that is because of the low quality paint applications they give these newer figures. I just don't understand why they do this. What happened to giving these figures actually good and sometimes even great accurate color schemes? Like, let's take a look at something from the early 2000s, like for these example. Now let's look at something almost 20 years later. Fucking Christ! Obviously there are other problems, but this is the biggest one for me personally. So, yeah, I won't say much on the paint because we all know it's shit and because there's not much to even talk about. All I can really say is that it's this nice pale orange color. The spines have this bone white color to them, but for some reason don't go down all the spines? Okay. And the eyes and mouth are nicely painted. And that's all. That's all I can really say about paint-wise. So let's move on to articulation. Starting off at the head, it's on a glue seal, so you can't move it around, unfortunately. Moving down to the arms and legs, they're on a 360 rotation. And yes, I tried it, you can somewhat create a flying pose. And then finally the tail is on a glue seal. Pretty standard for a figure like this, but the head and tail should rotate, but that's my only real criticism. And one more thing to quickly cover is his card. Pretty standard stuff for Bandai. It's not beating the game cards from Ultra Galaxy though. Alrighty, now for some size comparisons. And I have no idea why this figure is so large. Like, was he this big in his first movie? Well, anyways, first up is Godzilla, the ride design to be specific. Next up we have Salunga, Gorosaurus, and finally, my custom painted YMSF Wolfman. So my final opinion on this figure is a fun and welcome addition, but a lot is left to be desired. 7 out of 10. For me, I instantly knew I was going to get this figure because I'm a huge fan of Varan in any sort of media. He's literally my main in Godzilla Unleashed, so when I was informed that he was going to get his own figure, it was pretty much an instant buy in my book. Regardless of the problems I stated earlier that still, yes, do bug me, he's probably one of my favorite purchases I've made this year, and I might get a second one to repaint in the future. But yeah, that's my review of the new Movie Monster Series edition. With Goji 73 and Ultraman Kronos moving on from figure reviewing, someone's got to pick up where they left off. And if you noticed, yes, this is a new photography studio that I'll be using from now on to display my things. There will be a couple of upgrades coming in the future, but for now, it's fully operational. I don't know how many of these I'll do, but recently there was news of a Final Wars Hedera and Manda, and a show of Baragon and Ebra coming soon, so I might review those too. But for now, that's going to do it for this review. I hope you've enjoyed, and I also hope it's maybe inspired you to purchase this figure too. So with that, I'm Seismic, subscribe if you're interested, drink plenty of water, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Peace out!